This is part 6 of my turn-based battle system I'm going to produce in here. In the last part we were creating the basics for the enemies, and what we want to do in this part is we want to complete this and tell it to perform the action basically, and also set the build state machine is up that it is taking the next action from the perform list, and then make sure that we're taking the action and then performing the action and waiting until it's done, and then go and wait again and check if there are more enemies or anything, or maybe heroes in that list. So let's start with the enemy itself. What we want to do is, for timed action, we want to create or use an enumerator. That enumerator is basically in C# the only possibility, I believe, to perform timed action. So with timed action, I mean we can wait for a different or a small amount of time, do anything while we are waiting, or go over and return, or just end everything and all the other things. So we can do several different actions and perform them in like a timeline. So let's create that one. This needs to be, it's not needs to be, it can be private. So it's going to be private enumerator. That's one, and we call this one time for action, maybe. Time for action, and of course curly brackets for this. So what do we want to do is we need some variables at first. So let's create them. I don't need this line in here. So I command this one out. Later on we may need more information about this game object, but this is going to be our let's say enumerator stuff or action, I don't know, time for action stuff. So what will land in here is, at first we need a private bool, and this bool is basically nothing else than just checking if we have an action started. So I just call this one action started, and we set this one to false. So no action has been started at the beginning. Oh, no typos. There we go. Don't forget to save often. And now what we want to do is, at first, before we go through the whole enumerator, we want to check if action already has been started. So we don't run this enumerator twice. Or we don't want to run that enumerator too often. Or when it's just not needed to run this again. So if action has already started, we want to just say yield break. So we break out of the enumerator at that point. So we don't go over to do all the rest if action has already been started. The next thing is we want to set action started to be true. So if we have that already started, then we don't go over do that. If it is not the case, then then we are going to set action started to be true, and only then we go forward. So now we want to do several things in here. The first thing is I want to animate the enemy, or whoever it is, the enemy near the hero to attack. Then I want to wait a bit, do damage at that point in any way, and then animate back to start position. So I will just go over and go from the start position, slide or move this to the give me just a second. So take whatever hero or enemy is going to get taken, and I slide this over to whichever hero the enemy has chosen, and go and set this one maybe 1 or 2 units in front of the chosen hero, and then set it back to its original position. I don't know, I believe I just haven't saved, and that's why that enumerator just does not work or whatever. Yeah, there we go. So code does not return means there's no yield statement in the enumerator, so make sure you have that for now. Okay, so we want to animate that stuff back, and after we have performed all that stuff, what we want to do is we want to remove this performer, or this, yeah, let's say performer, from the list in a BSM in the battle state machine, because we don't want to do that action twice. Remove this performer from the list. And then we want to reset the battle state machine. Or just shorten this one. Reset BSM, so we set this one to wait once again, as I've said in the last video. So we want to go and restart all that performing once again and checking for all the things. And of course we will say, since we're done with all that stuff for now, we just set action started to be false, so we don't go over and do anything else in here once again. And also we want to reset this enemy states, basically. So what we want to do is we want to set the current cooldown to be 0 once again, or 0f, and also we want to set our current state going to be equal to turn state dot processing. So we restart the whole process. This will only happen when this is performed. If the hero or the enemy is going to be dead, then we don't go over and do processing, because we will never ever land in that enumerator. So, and to start that enumerator, we will go over and take that action state in here and say start coroutine. Oops. And that coroutine is going to be time for action. Time for action, those brackets, and close the line or end the line. And this should be it for now. And this action turn state is going to be set by the battle state machine later on. So we will be, when we have just chosen anything, we will be in the waiting state until the battle state machine say, hey, you have to do an action. And when we are in that action state, then we will go and start that coroutine, do everything in that coroutine, also all that other things, and then we will go over and restart the processing once again. Then we again will go upgrade progress bar. We don't see that, but we can make that visible with whatever, I don't know. But basically we don't need that. And then we will go over and do that all the time, except the battle state machine says, hey, no, you are not the one who is at turn, because there's another one which is going to be in front of you. And to do that in front of you, we need to handle the turns in the wait statement in here. So what we can do is we can just check if there is anything in that perform list we just created, and we will go over and take action after we just found out, or basically that waiting or the perform action wait sees there is something in the list, and that's going to be by just an easy if statement. Oops. So we say if perform list dot count is going to be bigger than 0, so there is anything in that list. What do we want to do when that is done? Well, basically we want to say we want to take an action. So we just switch the state from waiting to turn state. So what is that? Battle states. No. What is the right one? Perform action is going to be equal to battle states dot. No. No. Other way. Battle states is going to be equal. Oops. To perform take action. There we go. So we change the battle state from this to that one, and then we will be in the action state, and then we will do something. Basically what will we do is we will take all the information outside of the passed over handle turn and put that back basically into the enemy state machine. So we find or get the information. Who the hell was that guy who was sending me all that information, which we just see in here in the handle turn we just passed over. And then we can perform the action in the I numerator in here. So let's create that animations. What can we do to animate stuff over time? Well, basically, and also we need to wait until we have done that animation, and that's easily performed by instead of creating just a void function, I just create a bool. So we say private bool, and this is going to be called move towards, let's say move towards enemy. And what we want to do is we want to set or pass over a vector3 and just call this one goal. Our goal is going to be our target, maybe. Yeah, let's just say target. It sounds better. So in this one we will just do the movement. So for that movement we of course need some informations. We will pass in here under that command. So what will I do is I will say I need a vector3, a new vector3 in here, and I call this one I don't know, enemy position. And no, it's going to be hero position basically. It doesn't really matter how you call this one. Position. So I want to find out the hero's position I want to attack basically. And what I need to do is I need to store that information somewhere in a variable. So I say private game object, since we are aiming for a game object, and this game object is going to be hero to attack. That's the name. Save this, don't forget. And now and here we say just hero to attack dot transform. Oops. Transform dot position. So we have the position of the hero's attack we just passed into the turn handle, and we'll get back from the battle state machine once we're done. We can also we could also go over and just take it directly out of here, but I want to make sure that there's nothing else creating problems later on. We may go over and change this later on anyway, so yeah, make sure you have everything in here. Basically what I want to say is I want to set a new vector3 of that hero attack transform dot position. If this is not going to work, then I will go over and split all the X, Y, and Z informations, but I hope that I don't need to. Okay, so and now we go in a while state. So what we want to do is, while we are moving towards the enemy, that's the one we just created in here, we want pass in the hero position into the move towards enemy, which is a vector3 which is a vector3 we just created in here. So we pass in the hero position, and while we are waiting for returning or for the return of the bool, if it is true or not, then we want to just say yield return null. Oops. So we wait until that is done. I believe I just shortened this one up so we don't use too much space for this, since the information is not that big. So we have just 2 lines with all that things in here. Just make sure that everything is set up properly. So while we are moving to its enemy hero position, there we are just doing nothing then, just waiting or returning nothing. So to return when the player or when the enemy just hit the target, we just we need to split that up. The target we were just aiming for, we need to return the goal or the target. So what we say is return is not equal to target. Oops. Not equal to target. No, that's wrong. We want to return the target, that's it. And then what we say is return target not equal to, and then we say transform dot position is going to be equal to vector3 dot move towards, and then we can just define the goal again, or basically the move towards just have a start point, an end point, and an animation speed, or basically a movement speed, or call it whatever you want. So I say transform dot position is going to be the start. I could also use the variable I just created in the top, which is going to be the start position. No, we cannot, because we need to update that position. So the current position needs to be updated, so we need to transform the position. Then what we want to aim for or go for is actually the target. And then we need an animation speed. So let me just create this in just a second. Animation speed, and we want to say time.delta time. So we want to make sure that every single device we will or we may have that game on will act the same and have the same speed. So I just go copy anim speed in here, and since it is also something for the time for action stuff, I just create it in here, say private, and this is going to be a float anim speed, and we set this one to, I don't know, 5f. We can later on fiddle around with the speed of that animation. So now we have anim speed in here. Don't forget to save the script once again. And what I just figured or just told you before, we need to split up, or basically I will go over and do that, split up the position, because I need a space between the enemy and the player itself. I go over and ignore that for now. So what I want to do is I want to say hero to attack dot transform dot position dot x, and since I want to have it less, or no, a bit more than just 1 unit, I might want to say plus 1.5f. So I increase the target's position, x position, by 1.5f units. I believe that should be it. Otherwise, it might be that I needed to minus. No, it's minus 1.5f. I could also use 2f. So the next thing is I need to say the same stuff once again for the y-axis, but I don't need to change anything on y. So just copy that part in here and change the last one to y, and once again copy the same stuff again for the z-axis. Okay, there we go. Save that, return, and let's see if I still get another error. Yeah, that was the problem we just had. Okay, so now we will, or I will go over and test the stuff we just have written in here. Currently, nothing will happen. Maybe we go over and, well, basically what we need to do is the battle state machine needs to take the action out of the handle turn and return the information to the IE enumerator, and of course make sure that it starts the IE enumerator, or basically sets the enemy state machine to choose action. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any change, or nothing would happen anyways. So let's do that pretty quick. So we need to take the information again outside of the perform list, and the perform list is working from top to bottom. That means we want to take the first whatever handle turn is inside, or the first enemy or hero, and read out all the information in the take action turn. So what that means is, we say at first we create a new reference to that. So we say game object and call this one performer to just catch the information inside of that. And what I want to do is I want to find the game object .find, which is stored in perform list in slot 0, which is the first slot, and we want to know, or I want to know, the attacker. I don't know if this is the right one, since the attacker is just going to be, that's right. So that's a string name. That's correct. So in the battle state machine, we want to get the attacker and find the name of the attacker, which is stored in there, and catch that game object in performer. The next thing is I want to make sure that I know what kind of if I have an enemy or a hero character. To do that, I go over and create a new string variable in here in our handle turn, and say it's going to be public again, of type string, and I just call or just name this one type. And in our enemy state machine, where we go and choose action, we want to set my attack dot, and here we want to set the type is going to be equal a string, and I just call this one maybe base enemy or just enemy. So I am of type enemy, or that whoever that is going to be of type enemy. And now we can compare that string. Maybe we could also use the tag of that game object. No, we cannot, I believe. So what we can do is now we can compare the type of whatever it is and say if it is a hero, then do that, and if it's an enemy, do that, but don't do anything else when it's anything else. So what I want to make sure is if the performer, or if the perform list item at point 0 is going to be of type or the same type as, or basically has is a type of enemy as a string, then I want to perform, or basically I want to do that stuff. And the same thing can be done later on for hero, since we are using the same battle state machine. I can also say if it's a hero. So if it's an enemy, what I want to do now is I want to catch the enemy state machine again. Oh no, I didn't did anything. So I want to say enemy state machine is going to be, I don't know, ESM for this, or in my case right here. So I just want to catch enemy state machine into ESM. What I need to do is I need to gets a component out of performer. So performer.get component enemy state machine. And now I can just say ESM dot, and now I should have all the states and all the other things I want to do, and push the information back to the enemy state machine, which we just catched already in here. So what we say is ESM dot the hero to attack. It's going to be needs to be public, otherwise we cannot push that information in. Maybe I could, as I said before, take this one directly, but I want to make sure that everything works properly. So dot hero to attack is going to be equal to the attacker's target, which means it's going to be perform list 0, which is again as part or basically of in the first spot. And what I want to do is I want to take attacker's target and set this one to the hero's to the target we just want to take or use. I believe I can just skip this one, since the last one or the last turn should have saved that already inside, so maybe we can get rid of that one later on. And what I also want to make sure is that I set ESM dot, and now I will go over and use the turn state of the state machine, which means I want to change the current state to be equal to enemy state machine dot turn state dot action. So we load in the turn state action and perform everything automatically, which we just set to do in action, which is this one. And that means we are automatically starting the coroutine and go through everything which we just made in the coroutine. So make sure that you save everything, and now let's check if we have any errors. There we go, some errors are in here. No extension method for handle turn. Let's see what he wants. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I just didn't save it, I believe. So everything works properly right now. So let's see if one of our enemies is going to take a turn. So he's walking there because he was the first attacker, and now he's finished with his turn. Let me check the battles manager. And the perform list, the enemy 2 and enemy 1 are still in that list, because we just didn't get rid of the performer and didn't remove that from the list, because we're not done with that. So as you have seen, it's working properly. He is walking to that chosen enemy, and he's going to do, basically it's going to do his attack. We haven't done anything attack right now. We do the damage stuff later on. So now when we are there, we want to wait a bit. So we can just say yield to complete this one, and here the whole animation stuff. Yield return wait. Yield return a new wait for seconds, and let's just wait 0.5 F. I don't know, maybe more, maybe less later on, depending on how it looks. And now we want to do the damage, but I don't go over and do the damage right now. And I want to animate the stuff back. What we do is we do the same stuff as we have done here, or almost the same stuff as we have done here, since the next target is going to be just our start position, which we already stored in the start of the game, which is here. So we move back from where we just come from after we were just waiting for that amount of seconds. So that's what we are going to do. We create that new part in here. What we say is we create a new vector3 once again. We call this one first position or start. Yeah, first position is okay. We could also say start position, I believe, but we would have some problems in here. So the first position is going to be equal to our start position we just created in the beginning. So we have all the vector3 informations already done. And now we just do the same stuff in here. We copy that line, and instead of hero position, we just say first position. Don't forget to save. And also we need to change that name in just a second. So we copy over the move towards enemy and paste this one. And now I just say move towards start. We can again pass in target. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be all the same. Instead of we just pass in that information there. And we will just rename that function in here to move towards start. So what we will do right now, we do the same thing just backwards. We could also rename that, it doesn't really matter. So now we target back and forth. We wait in the center or in the middle, and let's see how this is going to look and if we have any problems or errors. Doesn't seem so. Pretty cool. No warnings, no anything. So the first enemy, whoever it is going to be, it's going to work or walk anywhere. Starts 0.5 seconds and then walks back. So why is it repeatedly doing that? Is simply because of the IE numerator, of course, and we didn't ended that as we wanted to be, I believe. Action started, save, and we return to the state. I believe when we are removing this from the performer list, we will go outside. This will fix itself later on, I believe. We set this one to false. Here to return null. We go there. I believe when we delete the performer, it's going to be. I know we need to reset. I believe this one. Oh, this is. We reset this enemy state. This to wait. Yeah, the battle state machine is going to keep sending us the information to take action. So we will the whole time take that action in here because we just didn't go forward and go to perform action state basically. And that's what we need to fix. And also, that's what we basically go and do in here, I believe. Give me just a moment to see if I'm right or wrong. Yeah, of course, that's it. So we go to our battle state machine, and once we are done with choosing who is the guy which is attacking and doing all that stuff, at the end of the line we just set the perform state or perform action is going to be equal to perform the battle state is going to be equal to perform action dot perform. Whoops, what hell? I don't know. Perform action. Yeah, there we go. So it will go into the idle. So when we now start this one, we should only see one animation returning back to its original position, and then it should wait there. There we go. Now we fixed that too. And the next part is we want to make sure that we take the perform lists number 1, or basically number 0 in here, and delete that from the performers list, because we don't want to keep that enemy who was attacking, and we don't want to keep that at that position because we want to perform the next action, which may already sit in that list. So what we do is we go to our enemy state machine once again, and we remove the performer from the list in the battle state machine. How can we do that? We just say bsm dot, and now we have the performers list. And what we say is we just remove at a position or at an index of 0. So whatever the item at the 0 position is, we just remove that from the battle state machine. So the next one will hop up into that. Also, we want to reset the battle state machine from the perform action back to wait, so we can check if there is anything else in that perform list. So that's what we do. We say bsm dot perform, well, what's called battle state. Battle state is going to be equal to battle states perform action dot wait. Don't forget to save. I'm gonna leave a space and just type in here. We just want to end the coroutine, so we don't want to go all of that once again. Set this one to false. We reset our cooldown for the processing, and when we go and set our turn state back to processing, so we can do all that stuff all again. What now should happen is that boss enemies are going to attack any random, basically showing us the animations for attacking every 5 seconds, and once the perform list is going to be cleared. So let's see what the perform list is going to do and what the enemies are going to do. So now I have a perform list of 2. Now what we see, the first one in the list is going to be enemy 2, which is this one. He now goes and attack. When he's going to be back, like now, he's not anymore in the list, and the second one already has all the information in the perform list and will just perform everything to enemy 1, or basically to hero 2 in this case. Now he's back, boss are still in processing, now we are waiting, and now we can see enemy 2 is again in the processing list. He has chosen randomly any target he wanted to, which is hero 1 in this case. And now the next one, which is enemy 2, and just attacked. And now we can see it's going to be over and over and over again until we stop the battle or anyone has lost or won. So until then, they will perform all that action. Pretty cool, huh? So the enemy has its basic states machine, and the battle manager or the battle state machine is going to take all the turns of the enemies and perform everything they want. They don't do actual damage, they just show us, okay, everything works properly and the battle state machine is working. Except, it's working pretty cool. So, let's recap that last stuff we have done right here. So, what we have done is we filled up the enumerator, or basically we created the whole enumerator. We performed some movement between the hero's position minus 1.5 units, so we don't land directly on them. Then we'll wait for 0.5 seconds. We can increase and decrease that time. Later on, we'll go over and do damage, depending on what kind of attack maybe they are. Maybe we blend in some UI so the user knows, hey, there is that attack. There is a special attack done or whatever. I don't know yet. Then we go back to our final, or to our first position, or start position, which we just set in the beginning. Then we reset, basically remove that guy from the list, so it's not performing the same action once again. Also, the next enemy can attack. Even if we have 10 enemies on the screen, all will perform all that stuff. They will go all into the perform list we just created a while ago, because they just, or this is just going to work through all the handle turns. And then we reset the perform action to wait once again, so we can return to its original and check if there is anyone in that list with any action, and if so, then do all that stuff once again. Yeah, pretty cool. And now you basically have your, the basics, or the base of a complete turn-based battle system. So those guys are choosing their turns based on whenever they are the ones who can attack and do stuff. Okay, in the next part, I believe, we will start to fiddle around with the heroes. This will be a bit more complicated, and also we may go over later on to choose different attacks and all the other things. But hero input will be will be handled a bit different. We need to have smaller script parts, and I don't know, maybe creating a new script for the battle UI or anything else. To make sure that all the input we are doing gets also stored in our handle turn, to make sure that the battle state machine can take all that input we just took and place that into the perform list. So that's it for that part. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. I believe you do. Feel free to ask me anything you want and anything you may want to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see what's the outcome of all the turn-based stuff, and also for later videos and all the other things. If you have any comments, just write me in the comments below, or a private message, or whatever, however you want. Okay, and until then, we see you in the next video. Bye bye.